Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod. We have Ben Stern with us today. He's the founder of Tenkara and Nohbo. He's a Thiel Fellow, young guy, just came back skiing, and him and I were talking about this outreach and everything in between. This podcast is brought to you by podpar.com. If you want to start a podcast the AI way and get a bunch of leads, some sponsors, and AdSense money from it, you can go to podpar.com. We have a free ebook waiting for you there. Ben, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
Yeah, great to be here. A little bit about myself. I created a company called Nohbo 11 years ago. Our thesis was to eradicate single-use plastic waste by encapsulating shampoos and conditioners in water-soluble films akin to a Tide Pod. Ran that company for over a decade. We raised $11 million, opened up 2 factories from the ground up, and both 7 figures in contracted revenue. Had the time of my life building that company, but also I noticed how big of a clusterfuck it was to bring a product from 0 to 1, which kind of inspired me to create my next company, Tenkara. With Tenkara, what I'm building right now is this AI cloud manufacturing platform where you can essentially, and my hope is you can prompt an idea just through natural language or uploading a bill of materials, and essentially we'll configure your entire supply chain and give you an Amazon style checkout page where you can order and reorder inventory on demand without having to pick up the phone and call that 90-year-old supplier that doesn't know how to receive an email.
Yep, fully am on board with that. You're a pretty special kid. How does one go from cashier to founder in 2014? And what's your background? What's your childhood been like? Why are you special, basically?
uh funny story. I guess I wanted to work from the time I could get like a child work permit here in the US the day I turned 14 and a half, which was a weird requirement in DC where I was living. I applied for this permit, worked as a sub shop worker, and I pushed carts at a grocery store called Wegmans just to save up enough money um, to take those funds and put it in my first company. Um, I don't think there's anything particular, like I'm not the smartest person or anything like that. I just don't really accept the word no. Like I feel like I keep on pushing. So that's helped me thus far. Yeah.
Quite a lot. But why are you that way? Because I'm also that way. I have a chip on my shoulder. I think genetically I've always had that ego, and I had that toxic habit when I was younger of always wanting to be right, right? Like always win an argument. I think that comes from my parent. My dad's an entrepreneur. My mom gave me the gift of anxiety, right? And always research my shit and being OCD about stuff. Um, you must have had something pretty special happen to you when you were a kid.
Um, well, a question for you. Do you feel like you are driven to prove someone wrong or to prove to yourself like that you can achieve
If
something?
you ask my conscious mind, it will tell you no, but subconsciously, I'm pretty sure that this is a big iceberg for me.
Okay. Interesting. Like, yeah, I feel like I don't want this to be true for myself, but I find myself always gravitating towards it. Like, I do like proving, you know, people wrong. But in reality, I think like I uh I just love I don't know, I just love building on one side of things. Like too, I hate the word no from other people. Like it drives me insane. I can't tolerate it. It's poison in my ears. And um, there is something rewarding when so many people are pessimistic about what you're building, and then you're able to like say, pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Right. And it seems you started so young, right? Like your deal with Mark Cuban, what were you, like 15, 16?
Yeah, I was 15. No, I was 16. I was 16.
I started my first business, I think officially, yeah, 17, but I didn't get a deal with Mark Cuban. I was on
That's
Dragon's
not
Den
running.
at like 19, I think, with the nootropic business, which was pretty cool, or 20. Um, but yeah, I wasn't like your grade of entrepreneurship or the level of it that you've shown at that age. What did Mark Cuban see in you?
Uh, I think he called me his mini me. So I guess he saw himself in me. But question, like, what was the nootropics business like, and what was your experience like on Dragon's Den?
Yeah, that business was incredible. So for context, I was a serial entrepreneur at like 18 or 19. I went on an exchange trip in Hong Kong while I was in uni. And I really started grinding when I was that age. I did like 16-hour days and I had a bunch of startups. One was a social app, never lifted off the ground. I had, an agency that was cash flow producing with a mentor that was like 50 years old, and my nootropic business, which I got into because I was a student. I wanted better grades, better memory, better focus, better cognitive performances. And there were all these supplements, right? Ginseng, B12, Bacopa, caffeine, L-theanine, right? So I took them all, mixed them up together, hired a team of scientists to build a formula and to prove that it was neuroprotective and got it off the ground. The problem was that we sort of sucked at sales and marketing. I was, I thought of myself as a big shot at like 19. Oh, Mr. Sales Guy, CMO, have my marketing agency. But yeah, some days we were in the green, some days we're in the red. So pretty game changing because I got the biohacker habit from that and I got a triple PhD in entrepreneurship. But yeah, my co-founder also wasn't on the same level as I am, more like of a career guy, makes good money even nowadays, but not the entrepreneur that I was. So took it to the ground, paid 100K debt, and I was sort of hurt by that because that was my moonshot, right? And even to this date, like 5, 6 years later, I'm still quote unquote recovering from that, and I'm seeking my next moonshot.
Mm, interesting. So, what do you feel is needed to launch a successful CPG, consumer packaged good product?
Oh,
Give
I
me.
would never do that again. I had the drop shipping guy yesterday on my pod, and he threw the challenge at me to launch something up again. Maybe I will, just for fun as a side project, just to build something up. If I would, I'm in Oaxaca right now, Mexico. It would be a luxury mezcal business in which the bottles would be 3D printed and the formula of the mezcal would be customized to the customer. It would be like 17K per bottle and up, all done through AI. What do you think about that?
Uh, like all done through AI? You mean the designs or?
Yeah, the designs, and
Okay.
then let's say that Dali would build the image of the bottle, then there would be like a software that would be proprietary that I would build that would actually feed that to the robotic machine that would 3D print the glass and
Yeah,
fill it up.
it's clever. I think all the AI designs that I've seen for 3D modeling packaging have been pretty shitty, to be honest. I do think that also, if you sell it in Mexico, great, but like there's also the US is such a heavily regulated place to sell alcohol, even if it's a $17,000 bottle. So
Yes.
it's like quite an investment. Like we work with nootropics products right now. I don't know what the hack is to actually get a brand off the ground these days. I played a little bit of back history. I used to play a lot of poker, sadly, and I lost a really big game to a friend of mine, and I built his entire brand from the ground up. All of them, like all the physical products and formulas, were made by me at night in our old facility, and he ended up selling that brand for $11 million. And I
Whoa.
asked him, "Could you do it again?" That was in 18 months. That wasn't just in 18 months. He was like, "Absolutely not." Because like SEO is changing. It's so hard to push money at something and get it to take off predictably.
Yeah.
Keyword predictably there. So I think some people just have it, and I think that's all. Oftentimes, like in the direct to consumer CPG space, it's driven by community these days, and that's kind of what's taking off the brands. And there might be a way to hack that. I'm not sure, but like you can't just throw money at Facebook ads or even SEO these days and expect a brand to take off, because I just feel like the old ways are dying and dying really, really fast. If you do a $17,000 alcohol, you only need a few buyers to, to have a good trip, a good vacation. So
Right, but isn't that like across all businesses? Isn't and is it that accelerating, meaning that the playbooks of before they're becoming more and more irrelevant? Some percentages might be still relevant, but the landscape is changing so fast nowadays. me, I'd use what I know, right? Like cold email. I'd cold email influencers. Um, my ICP would stay the same, CEOs and founders, mavericks. I wouldn't deal with normal consumers. But yeah, I think things are changing so fast. And I said I wouldn't do that ever again because shipping is a nightmare, returns, right, and so forth. But yeah, maybe I would protect myself from all the bullshit if I target CEOs and founders. At least that's my thesis. But I'm not in a hurry to get it restarted again for sure. Tell me about your poker background because I read backgammon there. What the fuck is backgammon again?
Oh, yeah, it's shush. It's like an Arabic Israeli game. It's you have these pieces and you roll a dice and then you move pieces to try and get all your tiles or your individual circle tiles to the other side of the board. It's just like a little addicting hobby. They have it in the airport and the airport, not airport, in the airport television screens. So whenever I get stuck on a flight and I don't have connection, I end up playing like 4 hours of backgammon back to back.
And how's it different from chess, for example, which I got addicted to and had to stop?
Yeah. Are you in chess.com?
Yes,
What's
I forgot my rating. Was it like a 2000? No,
2000?
1900.
Damn, you're good.
I was, or maybe I'm exaggerating here. Who knows? I know that I beat bots that were 2000 for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Isn't like a grandmaster like 2300 or something?
yes, but the difference between like 2000 and 2300 is like incredible diminishing returns. You need to invest tons of hours just to get like 0.1% better,
Yeah.
or use an
Backgammon
AI.
is totally different. I think it's a lot less strategy. There's a little, but it's like much more luck. People gamble on it all the time. Like you roll a dice ultimately, and then you're moving your pieces. Based on the dice roll, that counts as how many pieces you move. It's kind of a much quicker game too. Like I guess you can play chess rapidly, but it takes like I don't know 5 minutes maybe to complete a game.
Right. And as you're a player, you probably even a gamer, do you feel you have that addictive personality and that helps you build startups?
Mm. I don't feel like I have an addictive personality. I wish I did. I'm not a gamer. I play backgammon and I do a few other things, but I do like high adrenaline rushes. Like I fly for fun. I like to live on the edge, probably to the point where it's unhealthy, but not as an addictive thing. Like I don't find myself constantly, like I don't really do drugs. I don't feel the urge anytime I have. I don't drink much, things like that.
Yeah, I don't either, but I can tell you your adrenaline stuff is like a part of the addictive spectrum. Like me, my meditation nowadays is motocross, right? Just go out and ATVs and all of that shit, and it's really meditative.
Do you do
How
ATVs in Mexico?
Yeah, ATVs, motocross. We're about to buy this UTV, this side by side, and here there's like endless trails in Oaxaca. So fun and so meditative to shift gears, to brake, to transfer the weight, like we're talking about with skiing. Yeah, and I get tons of ideas from these. I just return from these, get my sauna, get my cold plunge, and ideas surface magically.
Mm. Oh, on my ski trip, by the way, I saw the craziest thing ever. There was this entrepreneur. You should get him on. He's really fascinating. His name is
Okay,
David Lynn.
David
He
Lynn.
was meditating every 10 seconds. He's this Asian guy, that lives in Peru. That's from Peru, actually. So, didn't it, he's achieved crazy success in business. I forget his entire story, but he went outside in 4-degree weather and was meditating on the snow for 35 minutes with no shirt on,
Did
a
he
wet,
froze his anus, or is my
a
question?
wet bathing suit on the snow, just breathing, looking like fucking Avatar.
Yeah, it's like Wim Hof style, I guess. Was he like mouth breathing, like
Oh,
because that's
no,
a technique?
he looks so calm. Like yeah, Avatar is the best way to describe. He just
Okay,
looks.
so David Lynn, what's his company? Is that the David Lynn Report, McGill University? Is that the David Lynn?
I forget. I think I don't know. He's on Twitter. He recently talked about hacking into like or scraping Twitter to check if
Okay.
crypto meme coins worked or not, like based on the top moving people. But basically, the story that he told me was he sold 10,000 pints of Ben and Jerry's ice cream before like he was like 20 or something. He had a store. He has another business. He is deep into tech. I forget the specifics.
Yeah, I think I have him here. Yeah, any aliens like that, you need to refer them to me. Talking about aliens, Teal and Blake Master got a hold of you, right, at some point. Guess I'm not going to ask you like what did they see in you, similar to the Mark Cuban question. I think we sort of already answered that, or at least I did, just observing and listening to you talk here. Did you speak to Thiel, the man himself? And yeah, what did you get out of that program?
Yeah, they definitely saw easy access to a young person's blood. Um, joking.
Like, yeah, you squeeze yourself to them and it flows. Yeah,
Oh, honestly, the guy is brilliant.
yeah,
I met him
he's
once. I met
incredible.
Blake once or twice. I only have good things to say. I think Peter's probably one of the brightest billionaires I've come across.
Yep.
Uh, Met him in his house once, but it was for a Teal dinner, so there was like 20 of us that got invited. And for one, when I walk into this house, it's the biggest, most insane house I've ever been to. It was in LA, or where he was previously living. Literally, like you walk into the bathroom and then the toilet just opens up for you when you walk into the room. It's all preheated. It's ungodly. And then just speaking to the person himself, I think like with a lot of Thiel fellows, they're really awesome people, but they do sometimes have imposter syndrome. So everyone was asking him about like foreign trade relations in China and the output of GDP on the South American, like all that sort of stuff that went way over my head. I talked to him probably for 10 or 15 minutes about why he decided to move to New Zealand and create citizenship there. Very down to earth, very thoughtful, and like just even though he gives very strong dad vibes, like he's a really good person.
Nice, man. Last but not least, tell me about Tenkara and what's your vision behind that one?
Yeah, started Tenkara because I did a lot of contract manufacturing. I made a lot of consumer brands, and I had this reoccurring PTSD on how big of a clusterfuck it was to launch a consumer product 0 to 1. I've kind of figured that money was out there for people and brands to spend money on products, but they just found the process so daunting and so much of a pain in the ass. So my vision for Tenkara is to build like this Amazon style marketplace where you can order and reorder products that are consumer goods just by a prompt. I started it in September. By October, we did 90K in transactions. Now we're hovering around 900K to a million. I don't know. We did like 60 last week. So like it's taking off slowly but surely. It's a really fun project because making real products is so much fun. Like it's cool to make software, but when you see something that you make and then you can touch it, feel it, and try it, it's like, holy shit, this is really cool. So I think I get the best of both worlds here.
I love that. I need to have you on a round two for this podcast, but till then, where can people find out more about you?
Yeah, they can LinkedIn me, Benjamin Stern, Bennett. All right, my email is, or my website's heyben.co. So, yeah, Twitter.
Ben?